Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be here with you in Cannes. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us, and huge congrats on the movie. For people who haven't seen Love on Trial yet, can you give us a brief introduction? What can people expect going into the film?
はい、これは、日本のアイドル業界を、題材にした映画で、あの恋愛を、あの、恋愛をしたアイドルが、そのことによって事務所から裁判を起こされるという、話になっていて、前の恋愛と裁判の様子の2つが描かれていきます。
So this film, Love on Trial, is about the Japanese idol industry, where a female idol it falls in love, and because of that is sued by the agency for damages. And the film simultaneously depicts her romance and also how the trial goes.
Not many people probably really know about this dark side of the J-pop industry. What first sparked the idea to explore this topic, why do you think it's important for for the sort of reality behind the glamour to be exposed?
はい、まず、実際にこの事件は2015年に、若いアイドルが、女性のアイドルが恋愛をしたことによって事務所から損害賠償請求をされるという、たった複数の事案がありまして、そこからインスパイアされて、映画はオリジナルストーリーとして、いろんなアイドルや運営とかの方に、取材をして作っていってます。で、まずそこに関心を持ったのは、そのアイドルの問題、アイドルという非常にドメスティックな日本の、文化を、カルチャーを通じて、よりジェンダーの問題だったり、もっと普遍的な問題が起きるのではないかと思った点が、大きいですし、強いて言うならもう、そういった日本アイドルという非常に日本の中で日本的な巨大なエンタメ産業がありながら、一方でそこのそこでの別の側面、この映画の中で描いている別の側面というのはやっぱり多くの人が知られていないという状況もあるので、それも一つこの映画を作る意義の一つだと思っています。
Well, at the beginning, it all started in 2015 when I learned of this actual incident of a young female idol being sued for damages because she broke the no love or no romance clause by the agency, and so this greatly inspired me to write an original story to make this film. And for that, I did do a lot of research with the agencies, many idols as well. I feel like through the story, I was able to explore not just this domestic Japanese culture that are the idol, it is the idol industry, but also themes of gender, and there are many more themes I thought that were much more universal. So that was very big. The other thing was that, like exactly Sarah, you said, there is another side to this huge entertainment industry that it also involves idols as well that many people don't know about, and I thought it was that was going to be one of the meaningful things in doing this film.
And of course, Kyoto playing Mai has a former idol herself. How did you go about casting her? And perhaps you could collaborate with her, and her own personal experiences could bring another layer to the character.
はい。いや、斉藤さん、実際にこの役は実際のアイドルの経験のある方にお願いしたいと思っていたんですけど、それは例えばパフォーマンスするとき、あるいはそのイベント、握手会などのイベントの時での、例えば表情の作り方や視線の作り方、そういった一つ一つの振る舞いや仕草のリアリティというものは、やっぱりそのアイドルとアイドルファンの中で培われてきた文化の一つだと思っているので、それをやっぱり俳優が演じるのは容易ではない、簡単ではないと思っていたからです。結果、その斉藤さんはすごく見事な存在感、リアリティを出してくれたと思いました。ただ脚本に関して言えば、斉藤さんがオーディションで斉藤さんにお願いした時にはもうほぼ出来上がっていたので、物語の様子について斉藤さんの実体験とかそういったものが反映されているということは基本的にはありません。
Well, Kyoko Saito, who plays Mai, first of all, this role of Mai, I did want to cast somebody who had an actual idol experience, and this is more not because of for the acting or anything, but for the performance style of the sorry, for the performance of the idol on stage, or when they have handshake events, how they would create their facial expressions, the tiny gestures of behaviors that have been cultivated between the idols and fans through over the years, I think is part of the Japanese idol culture that I wanted to express. And I didn't think that was going to be something that would be easy for an actor with no experience of being an idol to play. So that's why she was immensely sorry, and she had a great presence, and that's why she was able to bring immense authenticity, I think. But in terms of the story itself, when I cast her, the screenplay was rewritten, so none of her own experiences have been reflected in the story.
In terms of what people can take away from the film, I guess it is exposing what the reality is for people in these music groups specifically, but I think there are broader themes which perhaps speak to issues within Japanese society, pervasive misogyny, and then I think even beyond Japan, perhaps the way we do view people in women who are music artists and how they're treated.
そうですね。このアイドル日本におけるそのアイドル文化、特に女性のアイドル文化というのは当然日本における家父長制であったりとか、あるいはその、女性に清廉性を求めるような文化っていうものがベースにあると思っています。ただそれは本当にそれになるのも日本のアイドル業界に限った話じゃなくて、そもそも日本社会で言っても、例えばその組織と個人の中でやっぱり組織の論理っていうものが優先されていくっていうような、それは男女限らずそういったメンタリティの中でやっぱり生きてる人は多いですし、でもそれはじゃあ日本だけのことなのかっていうと、その度合いの程度の差ではあれ、例えばその男女差別だったりとか、そのジェンダーギャップの問題であるとか、そういった問題というのは別にどこの国でも当たり前に大なり小なりあるものだと思っています。そういったその問題を考えるきっかけになればいいかなと思っています。
The patriarchy, sorry, it's very hard. As you say, the patriarchal structure, and also this idea that the society will ask women to have a certain purity or modesty to them as a culture, I think is one of the reasons why the Japanese female, especially female idol culture is what it is now. Having said that, exactly like you said, Sarah, it's not limited to Japan, I think. The idea that when it comes to a bigger organization versus an individual, in many societies, the reasoning of the organization might be prioritized, and regardless of your gender, many of us are affected by that. Of course, when it comes to gender gaps or being discriminated because of your gender, these are whatever the size, big or small, that we probably see in any country. So I do hope that this film would spark debates around these issues.
And just very quickly, what does it mean to you to be back in Cannes, particularly after the success you had with Harmonium?
はい、ありがたいですね。その、映画祭に入るか入らないかというのはもう運とタイミングだと思っているので、映画祭に入ったからいい映画ってわけでもないし、入んなかったらダメな映画ってわけでもないと思っていますけど、ただ多くの人に見てもらう本当に入り口にはなるので、このカンヌ国際映画祭というマーケットに自分の新作を並べることができたのは本当にこの映画にとっては良いことだったと思います。
Of course, I'm incredibly grateful, but I feel like when it comes to films and whether they're going to be selected for a film festival, really is about timing and luck as well. Because, as you know, a film is not of quality just because it's selected for a festival. But it is true that it does become an entry point for as many people to watch the film. So I'm very happy that my new film is presented at Cannes for the film as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Huge congratulations on the movie.
いや、ありがとうございました。
Really enjoyed presenting it here in Cannes. Thanks so much.
Thank you.